Get rid of the disco colors.
North Idaho College proudly presents NIC Today, an informational news magazine that highlights the people, programs, and campus life at North Idaho College and the surrounding community. And now, your host and moderator, President of North Idaho College, Dr. Joe Dunlap.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to North Idaho College Today, the program that brings you insight into the people, the programs and events that make North Idaho College happen. We have three very specially individuals with us today, and I'd like to introduce them to you. First of all, Christopher Deane is our president of our Student Body Association. Thanks for being here today, Christopher. We have Erin Norvell, who works in our HR department. However, she's here today because she's chair of the Employee Day events and has coordinated that for the campus. And formerly, she was chair of our staff assembly. So Erin, welcome to NIC today. And then we also have the chair of our Board of Trustees, Ken Howard, who is an attorney and volunteers considerable amount of time to serve on the Board of Trustees. So Ken, welcome.
Great to be here.
And then in addition, we have our Vice President of Community and Governmental Affairs and Marketing, Mark Browning, who regularly joins us. And Mark, welcome again
My pleasure.
to North Idaho today. Christopher, we're going to start with you, if you don't mind, and would like to have you talk a little bit about what interested you in student government, why you became involved in that, and then last week you spent the week in Boise during Education Week, where we worked with legislators and made presentations to committees, and maybe you could talk a little bit about that as well.
Yes, I got started with student government pretty much on a whim, just talking to friends, and he introduced it to me, one of my friends, and said, hey, we should do this. We can make it way better and make it, and just, he had all these different ideas, the same ideas that I had. And so I went into it with him and we ran together and both became senators. And then I moved up from there to pro temp, vice president, and then the president. It's just been an amazing experience. And we have a bunch of major projects coming up that we're trying to complete. All of our senators have major projects that are coming to fruition right now. It's been great to see them. And we just have a great group that's been really together, and they've been building each other up very well, and they just work well together. But I didn't get to do my project because I couldn't be a senator for very long, so that was kind of disappointing. But I love being president so far, so it's been really good. The trip to Boise was an amazing experience, like you said, being able to meet with all the legislators and talk to them one-on-one and just get in their face about what we're doing and how important it is for the state. Speaking with the other presidents for the other colleges, the student presidents, was also really enlightening because they had really good ideas and really interesting perspectives on how to increase participation on the student body. So it was just an amazing experience overall.
Well, good. Also, can you describe how student government fits in with the concept of shared governance on a college campus? And shared governance is a concept that is near and dear to academic institutions. And can you describe how that works with the student body?
It just comes down from your guys' office over to ours, and it's just, we filter it down to the students, and it's just, it all works together, and it just, it makes it come in for the students and makes it a better experience for the students.
But now the other side of that coin is that students have a voice in what happens on campus in terms of the clubs and the activities that are presented, and in terms of initiatives that affect students. You provide the voice for the students as well. Okay.
Chris, let me ask a question, and maybe we can clarify for folks at home. How are the senators represented? Is there a senator directly from each venue or major areas, communications, professional technical, mathematics, or are they just elected at large?
Just elected at large.
And then they serve?
Correct.
Okay. How do they report back just directly at large into a student meeting? And
Yes,
okay.
all they're doing. And we allow them to pick the committees that interest them. So we do have different majors, and they go into those committees that they feel best suits them, and they come back to us and talk to us about what was there, what happened, and they report to us.
Give folks an idea, Chris, how many senators we're talking about out of our total student body, so they kind of understand the level of representation.
We currently have 8 senators, a vice president and then a president, and they serve on 4 committees each. So we try and get them to make sure they're on every committee on campus. Great. So we have a widespread representation.
Awesome, very good.
I'm also on committees, so.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
Christopher, I don't know if I can add a question on this, but you make a report, and you made a great report last night to the Board of Trustees, and that's really an important integral part of the trustees understanding what's going on campus. And can you tell me, how do you come about with, you will try and reach into what's occurred at the Senate, I suspect, or the ASNIC, and give us some idea of what's going on, but how do you decide what's going to come to the Board of Trustees?
I discussed it with all the senators and my vice president and talked to them what was most important to them. And then I had just our main ideas and our main goals to start, and said, this is where we're at, this is what we want to talk about first, and then what would you guys like me to add? That was how I went about it that time. I was not quite sure how to even start, but I thought that was a good idea to do it, and I think I highlighted all the most important things that we've been thinking about.
Do you think that there could be something that we can do as trustees that would help the students in their governance more than's happening now in terms of coming to meetings or attending events and things like that? Is there something more that the trustees can do to help the students out?
I think that our representation, our senators have been coming to the Board of Trustees meetings and being informed, and that's been really helpful in and of itself. I think for future boards, I think it's really important to have as many ASNIC people come to your guys' meetings and listen to what's really happening and what's going on. Because when you guys start talking about the RIF policy, it's like we know what that is and what's going on and what happened there, because we were there. We were there in the Senate and heard what all went on, and so we're a part of that. So in terms of you guys doing more, no, you keep us well informed, and we know what's going on. But I think it's for the board. They need to come and listen and make sure that they're in it and talking about it. And
I must tell you, from a board member's perspective, that looking out into the audience and seeing the ASNIC representatives there is very impressive. So many times, you get to some of these meetings and you don't know who you're talking to, and you don't know where the message is going. And it's clear that the interest lies in the ASNIC representatives and when they come to those board meetings, and that's really helpful for us.
It is. They really enjoy it.
Good.
Thanks very much, Christopher. Let's turn to Ken. And Ken, you were in Boise last week during the legislative week for education. And can you discuss a little bit about what the trustees' role was, what we did in Boise, and the collaboration with the other community colleges?
Sure. We go down there every year for what the legislature has termed Education Week. And it really is a great opportunity because it is a concentration of topics on the educational community, not just community colleges, but other aspects of the educational continuum. So a lot of educators are down there, a lot of people interested in education, and the legislature is focused on that. So as our president, you gave presentations to the Joint Finance Committee, and there was also presentations that you made to the Senate Education Committee and the House Education Committee. And what I found really interesting this year was that where in the past there have been individual presentations by the presidents of each community college, which is all right because it gives their perspective on things and it gives a little history of what they've done. But this year that individual perspective was presented to the JFAC, But then when we went to the Senate Education Committee, the suggestion amongst the community college presidents was that you do a panel discussion, and it was so much more powerful. It was so much more powerful because each one made a short opening statement, giving a little bit of background, and then the community college presidents in unison were answering questions that were placed to them by members of the Senate Education Committee, and it showed, I think, in a very strong way how closely aligned the community colleges have become in terms of trying to, if there are problems, get together amongst the community colleges, try and come up with solutions that can be presented jointly to the legislature. And that has enhanced, I think, tremendously our image with the legislature. They're so often confronted, I think, with people coming to them with problems without solutions, or solutions without any buy-in from other people. The community college community seems to have and has come to the legislature with a kind of a unique model, and that is, here are our problems and here are our suggested solutions, and we're all on board with this. So that was a very powerful part of what we did down there. In addition to that, we took the time as a board to meet with the governor. It was a good opportunity to talk about some of the problems we're confronted. We also had an opportunity to meet with the Albertson Foundation, which is an important and integral part of education across the state, to help share with them some of our issues and help them understand some of the help we need up here. We had a joint meeting with the boards of the other community colleges, which again is one of those opportunities to share common interests and try and look for common solutions. So it was 3 days we were down there. They were all filled with a number of different meetings, some of which I haven't even included in this, but it was a great opportunity, quite frankly, to not just get before the legislature, but get the educational community in terms of community colleges together.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. So, Mark, you want to introduce our segment that's produced by our students?
You bet. You want to talk about collaboration and the work between the community colleges. Youth now, and especially here in North Idaho, are coming together to try to raise awareness for the problem of texting and driving and distracted driving. Here's this week's segment from our students, courtesy of Philippe Val.
This is 2 minutes.
Boy, I'll tell you, the video is very powerful in the statistics, so please, let's hope that you're not watching this on your smartphone or your tablet while you're driving down the road. If you are, just put it on pause and wait till you get back home. It's a very powerful message, and we do appreciate Philippe Val and his program and his students helping to reinforce for all of us. I think we've all become so connected with technology now that we want to be in touch all the time, and sometimes we're not patient enough to wait until that moment where we can pull over or get home and call. So, Ken, I want to go back to you just for a second. The State House is still buzzing about the 3 community college presidents working together, and the question that I have received from a couple of folks on the 4-year campuses is, how did you get your presidents to do that? And my response has been, they do it all the time. And so that spirit of collaboration, I think, is still resonating throughout the halls of the State House. So congratulations, President. It was a great move, and I think it does help to reinforce the collaboration that we have, not only with the other community colleges, but on campus. I mean, Chris, you talked about how your senators are part of committees on campus, and you work with Staff Assembly and College Senate, and you're at the Board of Trustee meetings. And it's imperative, I think, that folks understand just how closely we all need to work together, and we try to work together to make sure that we're being the most efficient ultimately for the students and what's going on. So,
Well, thanks, Mark. Speaking of collaboration and committees, today we have with us Erin Norvell, who is chair of the Employee Day, which is coming up February 19th, I believe. And Erin, why don't you talk to us a little bit about what Employee Day is, who serves on the committee, what type of activities and events will take place?
Okay. Employee Day is a employee development day that was started, this is our 4th year. So it was begun several years ago. The whole idea behind it is that we're taking a day, in this case about 3/4 of a day, for staff and faculty and departments and divisions to participate in various development activities. Professional development being something that really is vitally important in keeping our services up to par for our students and serving the community, and innovation and teamwork and all the things that go into making us function at a high level. So we want to take a day, and the majority of our business offices and student services offices are closed for a portion of that day for employees from those offices to attend various workshops. We have a welcome session. This year we have a keynote speaker, a local from Spokane, Deanna Davis, who will be speaking to us about living with intention and laughing with conviction, and how positive psychology can do wonders in the workplace. So that should be very good. We have 2 morning sessions that employees have about 25 different opportunities to choose from financial issues, wellness issues, classroom issues, digital technology and how that's playing into all of our lives, customer service, a wide range of things. And so I think it's going to be a really great year where employees will have a lot to choose from. And then after the lunch break, divisions and departments have an opportunity to engage in more specific training for their area. For some of our instructional divisions, sometimes that's coming together and talking about how to better use technology in specific classrooms for math or sciences. We see a lot of departments engaging in team building, cross-departmental trainings. So it's really a good opportunity for that to happen and for the campus people to come together who otherwise wouldn't see each other at all other than our pictures and our email. They will end around 3:50, and all campus and college operations kick up again around 4 o'clock. Classes resume at 4 o'clock that day.
Well, what a great opportunity for our employees, and thank you for organizing that effort and coordinating it. And the committee that puts this together is made up of who?
The committee this year, we have 8 members of the committee. This year they're primarily staff members. In the past it's been a mix of both faculty and staff from a range of different departments on campus, student services side, instructional side staff. And we actually have 3 members of the committee who have served all 4 years on the committee. So really we've got, at this point, veterans to the process, and their insight has been absolutely invaluable. They've seen it through from the very first year where nobody really knew what this day was supposed to be until this year. And as the chair, I simply go to them and say, does that work? And everything has ran so smoothly this year in terms of the planning that I really am very excited. I'm also excited to see what President's Cabinet has cooked up for us during our welcome session the very first hour of the morning. First year it started up, it's been kept going. President's Cabinet always provides a brief presentation highlighting some of their special skills, often very humorous skills, and the employees really enjoy that portion of the day.
Well, having been charged with that responsibility by you, we have taken up that standard and are in the process of trying to put something together. Mark Browning is putting the script together, and we hope that it will be entertaining, enlightening, and not too embarrassing for President's Cabinet.
That's what we're all looking for, though.
I'll just say, having gone through this last year, I was the rookie who I didn't read the instructions. Last year, President's Cabinet, if you remember, the spoof is that we were all to come up with new jingles, new marketing jingles for the college. And so everybody did a music video that would be their suggestion on how to market the college. Out of 8 of us, I did not realize that I didn't have to sing myself. I learned that lesson. I've learned that.
So you did sing.
I did sing, not well, but
and the rest, I believe, lip synced.
oh
Is
yes,
that it?
absolutely, and they did so to great acclaim. So I've not shared that information with some of our newer members of the cabinet because I feel that's a rite of initiation now. So we may or may not have to share what this year's offering is, but. I'm avoiding singing since I'm in charge of it. There'll be no direct singing.
But there could be dancing, I understand.
You know, there could be entertainment of all levels. But we are, one of the things that I can tell you, Erin, is that we're going to ask all those who attend at the end to either bring a can of food as a donation to the food bank or $1 that will be used for their vote on the best performance, and that will go to the Foundation for a Scholarship contribution. So we'll need to get that communication out. But we feel like you know, that's if we get 500 or 600 of us together for that you know, we could make a donation to the food bank or to the scholarship fund that would help. So
that's a wonderful idea.
So.
Well, Erin, again, thanks for coordinating that event. And Mark, thanks for putting together
My pleasure.
The script. I want to turn back to Christopher and ask him a little bit about who he is, where you grew up, what your aspirations are, what you're majoring in, and what you intend to do once you graduate.
I grew up in Everett, Washington, and me and my family, we moved up and down the West Coast a couple times, and came back up here to Coeur d'Alene, the perfect little city, and really just fell in love with the area. So we came and moved here. Been here for 4 years. My plans are to finish here with my AS and then go on to U of I to complete a business degree and then go on to law, to study patent law is my ultimate plan, and then out in the world, just get into a firm, I guess.
Great. Well, as our chair of our trustees, you can pick Ken Howard's brain on what it means to become an attorney. Erin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
I, as you said, work in human resources currently. I grew up in Boise, Idaho. I attended high school down there, went to the University of Idaho. And I actually got my major in history and went into teaching, and I taught junior high for a couple years in Boise until my husband's company transferred him to their office up here, and that was around 2005. There were no teaching jobs up here, so I stumbled into human resources with another company, and when the opportunity opened up here at NIC, I jumped at it and was fortunate to get the opportunity to be here. It's a wonderful place to work. It's the best job I've ever had, and human resources has been a fit like a glove.
Well, and we really appreciate you being here as well, and also the leadership that you've displayed here at the college, and also, Christopher, your leadership stepping up and filling that leadership role with the student body. And so we really appreciate what you do for our students, for the college, and for our community.
Chris, just a quick question. Will you try to attend here in Coeur d'Alene, or will you plan to go to Moscow?
Both.
Both.
I'm going to try and stay here as long as possible.
There you go. Good for you. See, we need to get you on the Chamber of Commerce billboard out there. So, you know, really, as having lived now here in Coeur d'Alene for a year, I love this community, and it is. Moscow's nice. It's very nice. The Palouse in the spring and the fall is some of the most beautiful country on earth, but to have the opportunity to take classes here in Kootenai County without having to make that trip is really a huge advantage, and And having a son who's in his second year in law school at the U of I think that would be a good choice for you. You're a Vandal grad, aren't you?
No, but all of my children are.
There you go.
All but one. And I wanted to actually take an opportunity to step back just a minute and congratulate you and the other members of ASNIC for their visit down to Boise when we were talking before about what we did during Education Week. A very, very important component of that was having student representatives come down and interact with the legislature. And you went down the first couple days, we followed you, and quite frankly, we heard all kinds of great comments about the students that we have up here and their interaction, and you left a tremendous impression, I think, with the legislators down there that made us all proud. So I hope you carry that message back to the people that went with you and to the other students, that everything you do, like many public officials, becomes illustrated and illuminated and reflects upon a lot of other people. And you've done a good job of that, and your fellow students. Thank you.
Happy to do it. Thank you.
Good.
Well, I want to thank all of you for being here today. Christopher Deane, President of the Student Body Association, Erin Norvell, who works in HR and who is chairing our Employee Day event, Ken Howard, Chair of our Board of Trustees, and Mark Browning, our VP for Marketing and Community Relations. I'm afraid we're just about out of time. I want to thank you for joining us, and be sure to watch us on Channel 19. Thank you.